Good morning. Last evening, I received a video trailer from a friend of mine, and I posted it on Facebook. And I'm sitting here this morning reading the number of responses in the thread, and I mean, it's just amazing how many people it touched. The video is actually a movie trailer, and the movie is called Cancer, the Forbidden Cures. And I will post that link even on the YouTube so that anyone that wants to watch it on YouTube can also watch it. And of course, it will go back up on Facebook this morning. Hopefully, I'll remember. I need a reminder some mornings, like I did yesterday morning, because I was so busy. Mondays are very busy days for me. And I had something come up that needed special attention yesterday morning, which I may talk about sometime in the future. But in any case, Mondays are always busy days. Cancer, the Forbidden Cures. We live in a world that's absolutely insane. And I know there are still lots and lots and lots of people that believe and try to get others to see, if you only would stop focusing on what's wrong with the things in the world, they will change. They will magically disappear because what we focus on expands. We've been focusing on cures for cancer, I mean officially, in our culture for years and years and years. They try to get you to donate money to the American Cancer Society or some of the other big official groups that are trying to find cures for things. Let me tell you something, folks. That's all bunk. The American Cancer Society has no interest in curing cancer. No interest whatsoever. Whatsoever. They have an interest in keeping the cures from cancer from being discovered by people. Because the more people that discover the many cures and the many effective means that have been used to treat cancer over the years, the less profit the pharmaceutical industry will make. The less profit the insurance companies will make. The less profit the hospitals will make. How much of our gross product in the world is spent on people trying to get better because pharmaceuticals have made them sick, because things in our food and water have made us sick, because of air pollution making us sick? Now, I want to say something about all of these things that make us sick. First of all, what really makes us sick is the fact that we don't know who we are. The fact that we feel we're disconnected from everything in our reality. Nothing going into us. This is one of Jesus's messages. Nothing going into a man can defile a man. Only that which comes out of a man defiles a man. In other words, it's the old thing. It's not that which happens to you. It's that which comes from you that produces the results. And I didn't know I was going to go in this direction. But someone actually brought this up at our meeting last Wednesday night when we were talking about extraterrestrials. I don't remember the link of how it came into that discussion, but it's a very important point to remember. Not that the other isn't, but what comes out of a man is how we see the world. And again, it goes right back to we are unconsciously and have been unconsciously co-creating the world that we live in. What we actually do is we create the experience of how we are going to see the world and how we are going to respond to the situations in the world. Jesus said, well, that's not true. It was added in the 16th chapter of Mark, according to the theologians and the people that study the original texts. It was added, these things shall follow them that believe. They shall drink any deadly thing and it shall not harm them. That's one of the phrases. I'm not going to go into the other ones, but that's one of the phrases. The truth of the matter is, when we're unconscious, things that we take in do harm us because that's our belief system. That's why they go into looking for what's wrong. And when you look for something that's wrong, you find it. But we need to be aware that this is the world that we live in. And I'm actually experiencing right now, and I want you to know it, I'm experiencing a conflict within myself, because right now, within me, what I'm feeling is a dichotomy. On the one hand, I recognize how important it is to know what's going on in our world. And on the other hand, I sort of agree with the people that say what you focus on expands in this instance. I can see their point more clearly than I have often been able to see it. And it's a strange thing, this dichotomy that I'm feeling. For me, in my personal life, I know that everything is part of me. I know that. I know that life flows from me, that I am not the victim of circumstances. I'm not the victim of little elements that do dastardly things to my body, because I see everything has a soul, and I receive everything with love. Just as I try to receive people with love. Sometimes people can be challenging, as I said in yesterday's video. And I had to deal with some challenging situations yesterday. That was what came up in my life. So I know that for me, lots of things that may affect others don't affect me, purely because of the reason that I see them differently than others see them. But yet it pains my heart to know that we live in a culture that is run by people and by a consciousness that is very greedy. The most important things are profits and power. That's true in our world. And that's that is the consciousness that runs our world. And I do not believe that by turning our heads away from it and turning our backs on it is going to change anything. I do believe we have to be aware. That's one part of the truth. We have to be aware of what is happening in our world and focus light on it and focus our love on it in order to change it. I really believe that. On the other hand, we can individually reach places within our own consciousness where we recognize that nothing is separate from us. Everything is part of us, even the negative things, or should I say, especially the negative things that we try to get away from so hard. When we recognize them as part of us, it changes the effect they have on our bodies, and on our minds, and on our experience. It's a simple thing, so simple that most of the world hasn't gotten it yet. So simple that most of us still don't know. Even a lot of light workers may still not know that everything is a part of them. The pollutants, the poisons, everything. It may not have been in the original 16th chapter of Mark. It may not have been in the original versions, the newest or the oldest manuscripts rather that have been found. But the principle holds true. When we know who we are, when we know that we are infinite and eternal, we have a power to transmute even poisons. Nevertheless, nevertheless, and I present you honestly with the dichotomy here. Nevertheless, even though we have that ability, when we don't know it, when we don't know who we are, I try to protect people, which is why I choose to make you aware that there are lots of things in the world that have been suppressed. As I said, and it's actually a paraphrase on something that someone else wrote. I didn't use the same words, but it's the same principle, that doctors destroy health, ministers debunk spirituality, lawyers pervert justice, politicians promote war, educators undermine learning, scientists subvert research, all for profit, all because of greed and the lust for power over others. We try to control the situation so that we can benefit from others' misery. Lots of people do that. We need to be aware of that. That is truth. That is truth. There is a higher truth, that everything they do, if we know who we are, we can stand in our own power, and it does not affect us the same as it affects everyone else. I still want to protect those. And Spirit is saying to me, from their wake-up period, from their wake-up calls, no, I don't want to protect people from being awakened. But I do want to sound the alarm so that they will awaken. And sometimes that's necessary. Sometimes that's necessary. It's necessary sometimes to get angry. It's also necessary to feel and experience the peace that's within yourself when you stop fighting. Sometimes making war is necessary in the world that we live in. But ultimately, peace is victorious. And it's a dichotomy. I recognize it's a dichotomy. I feel it in me. Wanting justice sometimes. Do I really want justice? Or do I want mercy? Well, if mercy works, I certainly want the mercy. But what happens for the people that don't respond to the mercy? Love them more. Spirit says, Ho'oponopono. Immediately that word jumped into my mind, Ho'oponopono. You can change the most dire situations. I love you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. Thank you. I got them in the wrong order, but those are the 4 things. We could do the Ho'oponopono. Who are you holding in the light of your Ho'oponopono energy? Recognizing that they are just another reflection of a part of you. Cancer, the forbidden cures? Lots of things have been forbidden in our world. It's time to open up the forbidden subjects and deal with them honestly and truthfully. And most important of all, to deal with the reality that we forgot who we were, which is why these things were able to happen. As we remember who we are, we change the world. Not just our response to the world, that happens first, but ultimately we change the world. And that which has been forbidden becomes common knowledge, and there's always a remedy, always a solution, always, always, always. When we know who we are, we become masters. And this is the truth. This is the truth. Whether you see it yet or not, it is the truth. God bless you. Thank you for listening. If it wasn't clear to you, welcome to the club. I didn't feel clear sometimes myself, but I hope when I listen to it again, I will see the clarity. God bless you, and namaste. Have a wonderful day. Oh boy.